January 24th, 2024, and I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and we are going to talk about our Be Mine stitch along. So this is the 4th year we've done that, and we're going to talk about what I'm stitching. We're going to do a new feature where we mix and match, and we'll see if you guys like that. And then we have a slideshow of how I decorate for Valentine's Day so that you can see how I kind of put like the same fabrics together, the same floss together. So I have like little vignettes to show you. So super exciting. But for this year, it's the 4th year I'm going to be doing Be Mine, and I have 15 projects slated for Be Mine. And I did promise myself that in 2024 I was gonna, do a little bit less, but I don't think I'm doing any less so far. So I am gonna start off by just showing you all my projects. This year I have 15, and I'll talk about like the pattern, the fabric, the floss, and how many days I have it divided up into. And we do have a free PDF calendar that you can download for February. And you could print that, and then you could plan your Be Mine by day, which is kind of what we do. So I'll start with the very first one. And I have them all in my little bags. So this is Love Many Simply Signs. This is the club. And if you're part of the club, the pattern shipped to you last Friday. And if you're not in the club, this will be online in about a week. So on this one, I am stitching on mushroom 28 count Lugana. And I started with the 36 by 55 inch piece and then cut it down and then zigzag the edges. I'm using the called for Colorworks, and I'm going to do this in 3 parts. So I'll probably do I try to do where it's like top heavy, if that makes sense, where I stitch a lot up front so I can actually finish. So I'll probably do like that for the first day, second, and then third day. And Brittany designed this. It's super cute. This is the first part of a 6-part series. So if you want to join the club, you will get this plus the others. And this is in a bag that was sent to me by Goose Designs. So that's the first one. The second one is also another club. So this is February Shelf Life. I'm part of the club, so this pattern will be shipping to club members the first week of February. So I'm gonna stitch this in 2 different days. I'm stitching on black 28 count Monaco, and I got my full 18 by 60 inch piece and then cut it up into 12 different pieces. This is called for Classic Colorworks, are these colors. And then the white, the gray, and the blue are DMC, so that you don't have to spend a lot of money. And then these, the reason I have them like this is they're left over from January's. So that will be, let's see, 2 parts, and I will be starting this on Stitchy Talk in February. So if you want tips on working with black Monaco, in February I will come up with tips. Another thing just to show you is every time I put together a bag, there's always a needle, scissors, and 2 wonder clips, and I just switch them from bag to bag, but each bag has its own so that if I'm just like running out the door, I can just grab it. So that's number 2. The next one we showed last week, this is the Love Forever stamp PDF. And this bag Lori gave to me. It was made by her friend, I'm trying to think of her name. Chrissy, Crosshatch Quilts. I've had it for a couple years. So this is the Love Forever stamp PDF, pattern released last year, available only at Fat Quarter Shop. And I am stitching this on Kimberly's light pink 14 count Aida, and I just cut it down. And with the Aida, you'll notice I don't really zigzag on the edge anymore. I don't really feel like I need to. It doesn't really ravel as much as the even weave does. And this is called for DMC. So this is ready to go. And this one I'm going to do in 2 parts. So I'll probably do the border, and then the letters on the first day. That's probably what I'll do for the first day. So that's number 3. The next one is Made with Love, free PDF from Fat Quarter Shop. So you can see they all, scissors, wonder clips, and the needle is somewhere, but we'll grab a needle. It probably fell off in the bag. Okay, so this one, like I said, it's a free PDF that goes with a free quilting PDF. It was released the first week of January, only available at Fat Quarter Shop. I'm using called for DMC, and with something like this, I would just encourage you, you don't have to buy new floss or new fabric when we come out with a PDF. Just find a red, a pink, a white, and a tan, or whatever you want to stitch on from your stash. This right here is Platinum 14 count Aida. It's the smaller piece, the 12 by 14 inch piece, and I'm going to do this all in one day. This one will be super easy because I'll probably start with a border and then probably fill in the red, the pink, and then the white. And this is in our cute little bag. And then this one, I have a bunch of stuff in here. So this one, I have extra bamboo. And I always, anytime I have a stitching with the housewives, I just put extra bamboo just in case. And this is the monthly weigh-in. It's part of the club that I'm in, and it came out a couple of months ago, so I held it for the Be Mine stitch along. And I'm stitching this on the tea-dyed 28 count Monaco, and Denise cut it into a large piece for this and then a small piece for this. And then here is all my fancy floss. Now you're gonna see some of it's messy. I pulled some of this from my stash, if that makes sense. So some of it's messy because I'm using older skeins before I go to my new skeins. This is just classic Colorworks, called for. I'm not changing anything. And I'm doing 1 day for the small and 3 days for the large. And for the large, I'll probably do, like, I'll start with a scale because I love doing the scales. And these bamboo, I just kind of, one of the things is here, I started with, I didn't start with the kit. I started with my stash. So this isn't even a full skein. So I just have extra bamboo anytime I need it. And I have extra bamboo at home because you never know when you're going to need it. So that was number 5. I don't know how I'm going to get all this done, guys. This is so funny. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. Okay, this is number 6. Okay, this is Hello Valentine. It's part of the Kitchen Chalk series. And so it's really cute. This one, and I'm going to show you some pictures in a little bit, but I'm stitching on chalkboard black 14 count Aida. The reason why is you're going to see a lot of photos from my house, and a lot of this earlier stitching with the housewife stuff that I've made over the last 4 years is on the chalkboard black instead of the black Monaco. So I wanted to kind of keep this where I could put this next to some other pieces. And this released last week. I'm using called for classic Colorworks, and I'm going to do 3 parts. I would probably think I'd start with the letters and do that as 1 day, and then this is 1 day and this is 1 day. And then number 7. Okay, this one we kind of talked about. This is the square dance, and I put the entire year's floss on this Thread Bling by Lori Holt. So this is, I already started with January. So This is February. This is tea-dyed Monaco. And this was already in my pattern rotation. Here is the February I'm going to be doing. I'm using the Square Dance Starter Thread Pack. I'm doing this in one day. But like we talked about last week, I'm going to change the brown and the letters. This in January I did like a blue, so I'll probably do like this pink. I'll probably just stitch and leave that open and stitch that last so that I see what I think looks best or what color needs to be featured more. And then that was number 7. So number 8 and 9 I have in one bag. So I always love the Collector's Heart by Heart and Hand every year. I've been stitching it for the last couple of years. So and you're gonna see a photo of me stitching on this cloth from a couple years ago where I can keep it all together. This is Light Taupe 28 count Lugana by Zweigart, and I'm gonna stitch both Collector's Heart and imprints on one cloth. And I'm gonna do this in 2 days and this in 3 days. And what I decided is I didn't want to have to buy floss for both. So what I did, and you can see, look, I pulled from my stash. So like, look, that's how much I saved from my stash. So I pulled from my stash so I don't have to buy anything. And I didn't want to have to buy extra thread here. So on this one, I'm going to use Sea Shelly and Licorice Red on this one, and it calls for Red Currant and Tennessee Red Clay, but I just figured I've already pulled this for here, if that makes sense. So, you know, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in the look. I just already had all of this floss in my stash. You know, I don't want to have to buy anything else. And then I kept my little button that goes right here in this bag so I won't lose it. And I'm using Called For Classic Colorworks for Heart and Hand. I'm not changing any of these colors. I'm just using 2 of the colors that will be left over from here and here. Number 10. Oh my gosh, so many of you have been stitching this. This is Valentine's Day Quaker. This one I'm also stitching on that same fabric, that Light Taupe 28 count Lugana by Zweigart. And this calls for ripe melon, which is great. But when I went to my stash, this is how much I had. And it probably looked better with ripe melon, but I didn't want to have to buy anything. And I have a bunch of Sea Shelly left over. So I think I'm going to just do the Light Taupe 28 count with Sea Shelly, and I'm going to do it in 3 parts. It's pretty easy stitching, so I'm not sure where I'll start and stop. And then, so that was number 10. So then 11 through 15 are more stitching with the housewives. So now you can see how messy this is. This is all from my stash. I didn't buy, the only thing I had to buy to do these is the fabric. So this fabric is 14 count white Aida dyed on petal pink, dyed with petal pink Rit dye. And so I just, all I had to do was dye some pieces. And these are all from my stash. And it's probably not enough to do all of them. So as I run out, I'll just pull from my stash. And I am using up a lot of my stash, which is really nice. So these are the Valentine roundabouts. I'm going to do the Love You More, Valentine roundabouts, Love You, Love Notes, Key to My Heart, and then Love Is in the Air, and then there's going to be a 5th one. So I'm going to do all 5 of those and just stitch them. And then I'm going to do these each one a day, Called For Classic Colorworks. And we've gotten some questions on the bag. So I'm going to go through all the bags I've just shown you and kind of talk about them and where I got them and all of that. So this bag along with this bag were given to me by Goose. Denise is her name. She has an Etsy shop. So on these, you can just go to Etsy Goose Designs, and she comes out with new bags as new fabric comes out. So these were gifted to me. These two are Mad for Plaid bags, which are sold by Fat Quarter Shop, and other stores also sell them. And so you don't make them, they're just part of something we sell. These two are from a previous year's sew along. They're called Just My Type bags. We are getting low on them, I think. So I'm not sure how long these will last, but these are from a couple years ago. And I rotate my bags, if that makes sense. So, like, I've used this bag probably 3 times. And I just, like, as I empty my bag, we put new stuff in it. These two were gifted to me by Lori Holt. They're both made by Chrissy of Crosshatch Quilts. And Chrissy made the bags. Lori made the little flower and the covered button, and there is a video on Lori Holt's channel that shows how to make this and how to safety pin it on. Let me show you that. And it's safety pinned. I'll show you how it's safety pinned. She just safety pins it on with a really big safety pin. So there is a tutorial for this on her channel. Cassidy, who is Lori's daughter, made these for me. There's also a tutorial on Lori's YouTube channel on how to make these little macrame. And then these are just little, I think Lori just added these for me. But as far as tutorials for the bag, this one was made by Chrissy of Crosshatch Quilts. This one was also made by her. I don't believe there's tutorials for that. This one was made by Teresa here at work, and this is a pre-made panel sold by Lori Holt. Well, designed by Lori Holt. It's a home deck-ish fabric from Riley Blake, and so Teresa made this for me at work using that panel. I don't know if there's a tutorial on that, but I think there is on Lori's channel. This was a gift to me like 4 years ago from Priscilla and Chelsea, and it was made by Layla May Designs, and this is my little dog Piggy, and I love this bag, and I've used it for years. So that is all about the bags. I do want to answer the question on the Floss box. So we have a couple of these. This one is called the Heartfelt Floss Box. We have, if you just search Floss Box, and I think it holds like 11 Aurifil spools, Aurifloss spools. So it will hold DNC, but we made it to fit Aurifloss. And it's a magnet, and that's what's great, so that when you're at a basketball game and you drop something, you catch it. Okay, now as far as rotating my stitches, basically each week I just make a spreadsheet. I could easily just put it on the calendar too, but basically I just pick, like one day I'll do a roundabout, one day I'll do heart and hand, one day I'll do an Itsuema. So I try to rotate by designer, by cloth, and I try to mix it up easy, hard. I think everything I picked this year is pretty similar, meaning I don't think one day is going to take extremely, much more than another day. And I have been cheat stitching. So I think I sent y'all photos we could show of my cheat stitching. Yes, I did. Hold on. I sent it to Denise. Remember with the hoodie on? The 2 hoodies. Okay, so I'll show you. So some of this I have stitched ahead of time, but obviously I can't get ahead of week 1. So week 1 I'll be really stitching my other stuff that's in my rotation. But I'm going to show you 2 photos of me stitching this weekend. It was lovely, and you'll have to excuse the noise. That's the rain. But it was really cold this weekend in Austin, and so this is day one of me being in this gym with no air conditioning for 5 flippin' hours. I was freezing. That is like, I had on a jacket, a hoodie, and I was trying to stitch. That was day one. Day two, I have on the same sweatshirt because it was the only sweatshirt I had, and I have on a new jacket, and I have on no makeup, and I'm like trying to stitch. I was freezing. I showed up the first day, and the coach's wife was like, wow, you really are prepared. And I was like, oh, I've been to this gym before. She's like, it's freezing in here. It was so cold, and I kept my hoodie on every game, and everybody was looking at me like I was crazy, and I don't even care because my kids don't care. But I was like, I pulled it because I didn't want my ears. I mean, I was freezing. Anyway, hopefully this weekend I don't have to go back to that gym because that's the same gym that the coach pooped on the floor. Anyway, so all the parents, it's funny because I really don't talk to any of the parents because I just don't. But they're like, I hate this place. Like, they were like complaining so bad. They were like, this place is so dirty. Because it's just disgusting. If we're not in the jar club, can we get the pattern separately? Yes, it will come out 10 days after the club ship. So it'll be available in mid-February. What is my favorite or go-to neutral color cloth for 14 count? My favorite neutral is 14 count pale gray gingham. And you'll see that I really didn't pick much for this Valentine's Day, which is kind of ironic. Okay, now I'm going to show you a slideshow of my decorations. And I think you missed one, Denise, when you walk in my bedroom, that one little vignette.
Oh, the love.
And it's on my phone if you want to try to grab it off my photos. It's in there somewhere. Okay, so this is in the entry to my house. Let's see. This is it's just a tier tray that I got at probably Hobby Lobby. I have a little plate that it sits on. And then those are all designs by Stitching with the Housewives. So I think they're from last year. The Be My Valentine, Be Mine, Bless Your Heart. And then February 14th is the bonus and the Our Love Story Roundabout. So those are 4 PDFs. And then on the left, that is the wreath swap. And then the February is from the wreath swap one. And that's the second one, the O. And I just switch it out. So that's the first one. The second one, this is just a cute little bowl that I have. And I have Yay for Love by Heart and Hand. And it's just a merrymaking mini. And that one is the one that's stitched on that same brown that I showed. What's it called? Light taupe, over and over and over. The next photo is a tray that I have my sweetheart ornaments in. I don't love this display. I have to figure something else out. So I don't love how this is displayed, but I think on the day I was decorating, I was just done. And so I was like, Emma, just do whatever. And then this is kind of the side hutch that I have. On the left, that is one of the first cross stitches I did when I got back into cross stitch. It's Heart and Home by Needle Bling Designs. The middle one is Quilty Love by Lori Holt, and that was stitched on 10 count vintage cloth. And then on the right is February Trucking Along, and then there are 2 small pieces from Stitching with the Housewives in there. And then that little thing that hangs down, I get that on Etsy, and I get that for every season. So they're not very expensive, and I have them all over my house. And so for Christmas, I don't think I bought one, but for Easter, I have little bunnies. And then for Valentine's Day, I have the hearts. And then this is my City Valentines. I actually have stitched all 4, but I just had 3 together. And those are by Stitching with the Housewives. And Priscilla finished those for me. And then this is that same fabric I mentioned that I've been using for a couple of years. This is this is Collector's Heart by Heart and Hand, 2023. So I'll be doing 2024, and I'm gonna frame it in the exact same frame so that they can go next to each other. And then this is, I think I did this last year, Follow My Heart by Silver Creek Samplers, same fabric, and you'll see I used the same red because I wanted to tie them together. And then I made these about 3 years ago. These are both by Heart and Hand. And I'm going to see that same frame. See, I use that frame over and over. On the left, that one was a freebie in an email from Heart and Hand about 3 or 4 years ago called Always. And it's that same fabric that I mentioned. Priscilla finished it for me. And then on the right, that's Mary making mini floral heart by Heart and Hand. So you can see how all of this is going to go together. And then this is a couple of ornaments by Stitching with Housewives from a couple years ago. It's a Jar of Roses, Valentine Bakery and Delivering Roses. And that is that's a little display that I think we used to sell that we don't sell anymore. And then those on the right, those are just little heart, I don't know, like little things. I must have got that at Michael's or something. And then the next photo is when you walk in my bedroom. I have like a little table. I had to buy it because I have nowhere else to put my cross stitch. So these are from a couple years ago. That's Roses Are Red by Stitching with the Housewives and Be My Valentine by Stitching with Housewives. They're both stitched on that chalkboard black, which is why I'm still using chalkboard black. Both of those are finished by Priscilla, and I am on the look for a new, some type of new hutch or something because I have no room for anything left. Okay, so now we have something new that we've never done before. So thank you to Cheryl and Denise for putting this together. We're going to do something really fun today. You know, when I come on here, I'm always talking about, you know, what I'm stitching, what I do, and that's great. But all of you probably don't want to stitch what I'm stitching. So I had Cheryl pick different cloths that she would use. So these are not the cloths that you saw in my rotation bucket. These are different options. So if you didn't like what I had, these are some options from Cheryl. And then we're going to do a floss toss after that. This is Touch of Pink by Witchell. 14 count. It also comes in 28 count. This is Powder Pink Splash Lugana by Zweigart, and Cheryl loves the Splash Lugana. The splash means it has these little dots. It only comes in 32 count. It's not made in any other count. This is Blush Zweigart, available in 13 count linen and Lugana. And so you'll notice different counts here too, because Cheryl does stitch on 32 count quite a bit. Kimberly's Light Pink Gingham. Sorry, Kimberly's Pink Gingham. 14 count available is the only color. This is Light Powder Pink Splash Lugana. So it's basically the opposite. This one is pink with white dots, and this one's white with pink dots. Both of these only available in 32 count, except this one also has 25 count for some reason. It's kind of weird, like the splash, it's just weird, like what it's offered in. Vintage Country Mocha is kind of a staple that Cheryl loves. It's available in lots of counts. This is probably the easiest to get in a lot of counts, and this is the one where on one side it's mottled and one side is solid. And then Cafe au Lait by Fabric Flair. It's called Kimberly's Cafe au Lait. And so these are some not new, these are things that Cheryl would stitch on. So you saw a lot of black, gray, tan in mine. This is what Cheryl would stitch on, and we will be showing stuff that Cheryl stitches. But now Cheryl has also picked some different patterns that I didn't pick, just to show you what's out there. And then I'm going to do a floss toss and show you how you can pick fabrics that you think would look good. So this first one is called February 14th by Primrose Cottage Stitchers, and she loves Primrose Cottage Stitchers. So to do a floss toss, you would do something like this. Now obviously a pink isn't going to look good because pink on pink, it just clashes. I think the browns are a little, this one actually might look good. that would not. So for this one, my first pick would be the Kimberly's Pink Gingham. My second pick would be the Splash. And my first pick would be 14 count because this is 32 count, and so 14 count's easier for me to stitch. And these are the flosses that we already pulled the floss, so you can, and this is what a floss toss is, you know, just put it on there and see how it looks. And you can always change, you know, if you really fall in love with the fabric, but you think one color of the floss clashes, you could pull and change one color of the floss. So that's my first pick. My second is also from Be Mine Primrose Cottage. And because they're the same designer, I would do the same thing because I would want to display them next to each other. And if I made them, I'd probably finish them the same way. Kind of like you saw, I have all of those ones with that same fabric, with the same frame. It just makes it easier to decorate. It's also easier to know when you go to the framer, you don't really have to think about it. And then you just have a lot of stuff that already pre-matches. I'm probably going to pick this for all of them and cheat. Yeah, February 9 patches also by them. This one, because it's 9 patch and it has straight lines, I would not pick this just because I don't think you have to have straight lines on a straight line piece. So it's a little too dark. I would pick this one, which is that splash print. And y'all can pop any questions in. I'll answer them at the end. The next one is Heart in Hand, Tweet Hearts. This is so cute. And this I definitely would use a brown. So I would pick between these two. And when there's a lot of colors like this, it's important to lay out every color because you're going to have a lot of browns. Like this pink has to be able to show up on this fabric. So it's right here, and you know, it doesn't really pop out. And the white doesn't, well, the white works. I would pick this one just because of that one pink, because that looks so much better to me. So this one is Tweet Hearts Vintage Country Mocha. And then this one, oh my gosh, I found this the other day in my drawer. I've already kitted it up and I haven't stitched it yet. So I'm gonna put it on my list for 2025 because I definitely have to stitch this. This is the Big Hearted Tiny Town by Heart in Hand, and this one I'm thinking would look good on the Kimberly's Cafe au lait. Just because I really like that light color. There's a lot of dark in the roofs, so if you put that, it might get lost. Like, that might get lost. Like this. See how that's gonna get lost? And just make sure you lay out all of your colors. And then another thing you can do, and I'm gonna show this to you, this is how Cheryl does it. Okay, if you're concerned about one color, what you can do, this is what Cheryl does. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, you're gonna stitch with 2 strands, right? Can you see it? That's 2 strands. So I think it'll be fine. If you're concerned that that one wouldn't show up, what you could do is keep all these colors and just go one notch darker on this one if you're concerned. The next one is also by Heart in Hand. It's Bird in the Valley Bird in the Hand Valentine's Day. This would be really cute to make a pillow out of it, just like this. So. I kind of think this would be really cute. Pink on pink. I know it's a lot, but I kind of think that that would look really good. The pink on the pink, and this is that pink powder splash. But I kind of think something like this would, I don't know, because to me I'm envisioning a pillow with pink fabric, and I just think pink on this one would look good. Also by Heart in Hand is the 2020 Collector's Heart. I think I've stitched this. Yeah, I stitched this a couple years ago, and I actually stitched this on that same fabric. I wonder where it is, because it wasn't in my decorations. Who knows where it is? I would probably stitch that on this one. I think this one might be a little too dark. Actually, I think both of them would work. Okay, if I had to pick, I would pick this one, Cafe au Lait. So you kind of get, like, after a while, you kind of just learn to trust your judgment. And you can always, like, you know, ask somebody you live with, like, ask your kids, hey, do you think this looks good, or do you think this looks good? Get a second opinion. People will tell you. And then Love Whirligig. This one has some deeper reds. This one has a lot of different colors. So I think I don't think the pink gingham would work, because I think that these reds right here clash with the pink. I think that clashes with the pink. I think that clashes. So I would probably stitch on this or this. And the reason I say the white is sometimes when you have really dark reds, like Tennessee red clay, it really pops on the white. So I would pick one of these two. This is February Quaker, which I think Cheryl did stitch by Needle Art by Wendy. And we showed this a couple years ago when she stitched it. And this one is 3 colors. I would definitely stitch that on this, just because I just think it's gonna pop. So, and to me, like, I just think of this, like, how would I frame it? Where would I put it? And to me, I would put it with like a gray frame, or a frame about this color. So if I'm doing a frame about this color, it might look bad against something like this, because then you've got browns that might clash. So I kind of envision, okay, what color frame am I going to go with? How do I make the floss go with it? So that's why we picked this one. And then this is the Lovable Petites by Little House Needleworks, which I really, really want to stitch. And I haven't yet. And this is from my stash. That's why it's like that. So this one, I mean, Diane did something really cute where she used 2 fabrics for one and then 2 fabrics for another. Yeah, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Of course, I'm gonna pick this one, probably. I'm kind of a creature of habit. That, if I did that one, I would definitely have to change this color because I don't think it would show up. Like the love, see, that's not going to show up. So it won't work on this. I'd probably do it on the Cafe au lait. And this is something you can do at home. Just pull the floss you have, pull the fabric you have, and just lay it out. Just make sure you have good lighting. This is Loads of Love by Shannon Christine, and this is a lot of DMC. Now, if it was me doing this, I would, if I was already doing other ones, I wouldn't use this DMC. I would just use the colors that I've already shown you because you saw all those colors reused a million times. So instead of buying a whole new set of colors, I would just pick something that I already had. With this one, you know, you hardly use that yellow at all. It's right here. So that's kind of irrelevant. So I would take that out because that's distracting. And you can see the red. This is how you get the variegated look, is by using the different shades of red. And that's how you get the variegated look in the truck, is the different shades of pink. So you've got like words, trucks. The green is used just a little bit, but that's how you get the variegation. And then the brown is here for the truck. So I'm just kind of thinking, I don't think this tan works. I think it's too, I don't think it fits the vibe of it. So try the pink. And you never know until you put it on your fabric. I think that's too gaudy. And I feel like once you put it on there, you kind of know. I think that would look really good, except it won't work because of the quilt block. So that's not going to work. That's not going to work because of the white. That's definitely, these pinks are not going to work. See, that's just too much pink. So I think this one will probably look the best. And I think the browns will be okay, and I'll tell you why. And everything I'm showing you guys right now, I learned this from Cheryl, so big shout out to Cheryl, because, you know, if you would have shown me this a couple years ago, I would have said, oh no, that won't work, the browns are too close. Okay, the browns are just right here. It's such a tiny part of the piece. You really don't even have to pay attention to this. You really need to pay attention to your white and your, you know, what is used the most? I mean, really those colors are used the most. So I would go with the Vintage Country Mocha. The next one is Valentine Signs by Tiny Modernist. This is really cute. So the white is in the black. So just looking at that, you know, your white does have to show up because it's here and here. So you do need the white to show up. That won't work. That won't work. That definitely won't work because of the white. It won't work for the white. And all of these right now are just things, at the beginning of the show, I showed what I'm stitching. These are just ideas to show you. I think this would actually look really good. Now, yeah, I think that would look really good. Even though it's pink on pink, they're the same color family. So I think that would look good. So you kind of just put your floss on there and see what you think. So these are just things that Cheryl likes that we're just kind of showing. Just to give you ideas, because I'm always showing you mine. This is Love is Patient, Love is Kind by Artful Offerings. So this is kind of like darker reds. So that would definitely not work with pink because that's not the same color family. It's going to have to be one of these. And I think I would go with Vintage Country Mocha so that that white will show up. but the white is not, actually the white is not, it's not used much. So here I would look at the pattern. I'm going to look in the pattern and see where the white is used, because it's not, if it's not used very much, I'm not going to have to consider it that much. So that is the check mark. Let me just look. And this is what I do, guys. So the check mark is, where is the white used? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out where the white is used. I don't even see it. Oh, I see it. Okay, Denise sees it, actually. It's just in the bunny's tail right there. That's it, and it's outlined. So I don't think you have to consider that as much. I would probably go here. I would go with Vintage Country Mocha. And for me, I would probably change these two reds. You know, if it was me, I would probably just do two different reds completely, because these are a little different than what I usually use. This is our flash sale for today. This is Script 14 count Aida. It is on sale for today only. And then I'm super excited to show you this next image. This is the Stitching with the Housewives Yeti cup. So we are pre-ordering this just like we did the black cup. So we had a black Yeti for a couple years, and with the hipness of Stanley, we decided to add a handle, change the color, because all of you probably already have the other cup. So Priscilla and Chelsea came up with this club. It is a 25-ounce Yeti mug with a straw lid, and it comes with a handle. Ships next month. You'll pre-order it now, and then when it comes in, we'll ship it to you. All the pricing and everything is online. It's a very similar size to the previous one. It's just a different color and a different look. So super excited. And I've shown you this one, but these are the two new Stitching with the Housewives patterns for this week. Love is in the Air, and then Be Sweet. This one I'm stitching as part of my Be Mine. And then we have some new Erin Elizabeth patterns. Home Tweet Home, Valentine's Tear, Sampler of Love, and Blossom and Birds. Okay, so now I'm going to answer questions. I would want to hear why he pooped in the gym. Oh, he farted on accident, and then he thought he just farted, and then he was walking around and the poop was coming out. It was lovely. The stories that I have. I could write a book. Sometimes I don't know. It's crazy. What would I stitch on gingham fabric? I stitch on gingham fabric all the time. I used that one year. I think I used the pale gray gingham on everything cross stitch for like something. So I use a lot of gingham on there. What you want to do, because that's a white fabric, is just make sure that whatever white or light fabric whatever white floss or light floss you have would show up on it. Will I do the buttons for Big Hearted? Tiny Town. Oh, yeah, let me see them. Let me see that real quick. Sorry, so I can answer correctly. Yeah, I definitely, they're in here, right? Yeah, and they come with the pattern, so they're right there. So yeah, I would definitely add them. Dorothy asks, what do you do when your project measures 16 inches and your sticker board is 14 inches? How do you get that extra 2 inches? Project measure 16. You would just make sure you stitch in enough to where you have enough to overhang. So if you wanted to, before you started stitching, you could like draw lines with a friction pin that would come off with heat later, and just kind of draw the line of your board so that you know you're stitching within that area. What 14 count Aida would go well with Hometown Neighborhood Tea House? Oh my gosh, Cafe Olay would go good, Vintage Country Mocha. What's the one that I always forget the name of? Lamb's Wool would look good. The wooden easel display will be back in stock. So that is for the Shelf Life Club. So let me tell you how that's working. So we are using it's made in America. So we use a local to us vendor. And so what he does is he can do so many per month, and that's all he can do. So we just get shipments every single month of what he can produce. So the only reason, and that's just so that we could get it made in America, that's why we run out. But we're going to just, every month we get a shipment from him, and it's just whatever he can do because he's just a one-man shop. Do I ever go with the color the model used listed on back of the pattern? Rarely. I usually start with, and the reason why is, okay, like Heart in Hand, they always use a 16 count. I kind of am like a creature of habit in so many ways in my life, but I just really stick with, like I said, when I showed you all my decorating, I kind of keep it the same because then when I decorate, I can put, you know, the chalkboard black together or that kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I do kind of ignore that at all times, pretty much. So thank you so much for joining me today. Now you got to see all of that wonderful, all those patterns, all that fabric. We're going to give away to 3 winners, just an assortment of all of that. You'll get something from that. And we're going to have 3 winners with the assortment of the Valentine patterns and fabrics. You have until Tuesday, January 30th to enter to win on the video, and Ashley will pick winners Wednesday, January 31st. And so for the question today, I hope we inspired you today. Let me know what you think about let me know what you think about that new segment where we gave you all those ideas. Do you like that? Is that something you want us to do in the future? Is it distracting? What do you think of it? Because we're always trying to come up with great ways to inspire you in some way. So let me know if you like that segment. And if you do, we can add that to our regular rotation. And I hope all of you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week.